Hello, people. Welcome to my YouTube channel that is Fun with English and Literature. And today we will see the third part of our model of communication. Just a small recap. In the last two PPTs, we have learned about following models that are transactional models, linear models. In this video, we will see the interactive models of communication. Just to give you a brief introduction, interactive model deals with the exchange of ideas and messages taking place both ways from sender and receiver and vice versa. The communication process takes place between humans and machines in both verbal and non-verbal ways. This is a relatively new model of communication for new technologies like web. You can see the diagram. Here it says encoder, source and decoder. So encoder encodes the message, sends to decoder, who again decodes the message and sends feedback to the encoder. So what are the components of interactive model? The first one is encoder, source, decoder. The person who originates a message is a source. An encoder and decoder can be the same person. The second source is encoder as well as the decoder. The source acts as an encoder while the sending message and as a decoder while receiving the message. The next one is message. Message is the piece of information during the interaction. Then comes the feedback, which decoder sends to forms a second message after receiving the first, which is known as feedback. And then comes the field of experience. Field of experience is the experience and knowledge that the source possesses which affects the message formation, interpretation. For example, sources culture, behavior, social behavior, etc. Interactive model, whenever a source sends a message to receiver, he or she encodes the message first. The encoded message is then received by the receiver, where it is decoded to get the original information. Again, the receiver acts as a source, encodes message and sends it back to the sender. The message formation of both sources are affected in the field of experience. Now, what is field of experience? It is a communication pattern alteration factor like culture, social, psychology, situation, and channel used. Overlapping field of experience initiates conversation, and conversation in turn expands the communicator's field of experience. All these factors also affect the message interpretation. The model has a concept of noise and barriers of communication like language, network problem, etc., which affects the communication process. There is an open line of communication in interactive communication model. So let us see the examples of interactive models. So internet can be taken as the best way of interactive communication. Why? Because as receiver can give feedback even in newspaper and books. Internet has increased the opportunity of interactive communication and it is still evolving. Human computer interaction is also now considered as an interactive communication as model is circular, where the sender interchanges every time. Social media, interactive marketing, and user generated contents, ATM machines, online shoppings, etc. are all other examples of interactive communication model. Now, what we will see in this PPT, we'll see two models. The first one is Schramm's interactive model, and second one is Gerbner's interactive model. Let us quickly see the diagram of Schramm's interactive model. Mr. Wilbur Schramm proposed this model in 1954. And this model views communication as a process that takes place between sender and receiver. There will be also a message and a medium through which the message can be transmitted. This model is a cyclical communication model containing all basic principles of communication. This also offers classical approach to an explanation of communication. It can be used to determine how communication between two people works when they are exchanging information, ideas, and attitudes. So, according to this model, communication is a circular and the sender and recipient of the message can be the same person. Message is encrypted and passed on the same person or to the different people. It is up to the recipient to decrypt the message, interpret it, then encode it again before sending the message to new recipient. There is no fourth element such as we had in Berslow's and SMCR model. Let us quickly see the elements. The first element is source or encoder. Basically, source is the sender, the party who sends the message. He has to be very clear when sending the message and has to be able to show why this message is important to the recipient. This is why sender of a message has to make sure that the information that he is providing is useful, relevant and accurate. Now how he will do that? To ensure that recipient can properly read the message, it has to be encoded. What does encoded means? This means it is necessary for recipient to know the sender. The success of attempt of communication will depend upon the ability to bring across the information in a simple but a clear way. The way in which the message is encoded is influenced by number of things such as cultural aspects, perception, knowledge, attitude, experience, and skill. Now, source has to be very clear before sending the message, and he has to be able to show why this is important for a recipient. This is why sender has to make sure that the information which he is providing is useful and accurate, and he should properly encode it. There are certain things which are very important such as cultural aspects, perception, knowledge, attitudes, experience and skill. Our next element is decoder, that is recipient. The recipient is a person who actually receives the message or to whom the message has been sent. Now whether he will be able to decode the message depends upon number of factor. For example, how much the individual know about the topic and how much he is open to discuss that topic. And the third one is the trust that he or she has on the sender. Decoding a message is a psychological process. After message has been received, the stimulus is immediately sent to the brain for interpretation. And this is where the message is given the meaning, if that it at all has. And this entire process is known as decoding. Whether the recipient is able to decode the message again depends upon n number of factors. The first one is recipient's knowledge about the topic. The next one is how open he or she is for the message. And the third is how much recipient trusts the source. Our next element is message. A message, in the studies of rhetoric and communication, a message is defined as an information. This information is communicated through words or other characters such as symbols. This message can be either verbal or non-verbal and is the content of the communication process and plays an important role. A message may contain verbal content such as speech, sign language, emails, WhatsApp messages, etc. And it can also consist non-verbal content such as behavior, gesture, body language, eye contact, etc. The next one is feedback and organization. But the thing is, although it is not very clearly mentioned in this model, but recipient plays a very important role. They are not only supposed to absorb the message, but they also have to receive and respond to it. The reply from the recipient to the sender message is called feedback. Now, feedback can again be both verbal and non-verbal. Let us quickly see the elements. So, feedback is therefore a way to measure how the audience has received the message. This enables sender to improve the effectiveness of the way messages are composed and sent. If audience doesn't understand the message, the source of the message can refine it based on feedback. It is essential for effective communication in an open communication an environment to offer the opportunity to provide feedback. For example, if a manager in a business environment should therefore create an atmosphere that stimulates feedback. You can use certain questions such as do you get it or what do you think? These are some questions that should be asked a lot more regularly. Let us see Gerbner's model of communication. Now, Gerbner's model emphasizes the dynamic nature of human communication. Mr. George Gerbner took into account several components which are integral, and he formulated this model in the year 1956. This model was relevant in terms of television viewing. It takes into consideration perception, context of message, and participants' reaction. Mr. George Gerbner is one of the pioneers in the field of communication research. His works are descriptive as well as very easy to understand. He is currently working as a professor and a head of Annenberg School of Communication in University of Pennsylvania. In 1956, Gerbner attempted the general purpose of communication models. He stressed the dynamic nature of communication in his work and also the factors which are affecting the reliability of communication. Let us quickly see the diagram. So the components which are taken into account by Mr. Gerbner is, and the first one is E as an event. Event is nothing but an occurrence which facilitates information. An E is an event happens in real life and the event content or a message is perceived by M. After perceiving the message by E, M is known as E1. E1 is not same as E because any man or machine can't perceive the whole event and they perceives only the part of E, that is E1, and this is known as perpetual dimension. Next component is M as an audience. So M is the person who was present at a time and the place where event occurred, and he has seen and experienced the event himself. There can be n number of people who have perceived an event at the time, so the number of M may vary. For example, at Wankhede Stadium there is a live match going on and Sachin hits a boundary. Now there can be n number of people present at the time in Wankhede who have perceived this event. Next one is S as in selection. There can be multiple scenes in event which we are perceiving. For example, if we are seeing a cricket match, there can be number of events like bowler bowling and batsman defending, fielder catching the ball. So there can be n number of events. Now the S denotes the selection of the scenes which your own likes and dislikes, means these scenes are on the basis of your own likes and dislikes which we pay attention are at the moment that are fascinating into us in that whole event. This says that it is upon the audience that which event they select to elaborate from number of events taking place in a larger picture. Next one is C as in context. C says that in what situation that event has occurred. Let us see an example. We take an event of raising a hand. Now we were talking about cricket match, so we can say that here a raising of hand is an event, but its context can change the entire meaning of the event. For example, if a student raises his hand in a classroom, that means he or she has a doubt and want to ask something. Whereas an umpire raises his hand in a cricket match means the umpire is out and the batsman is out and he has to leave the ground. Next one is availability. Now, availability of an audience at the time of event. Sometimes event occurred in front of us, but all information doesn't necessarily gained by us. For example, in stadium, you are watching a match and Sachin hit a six, but at the time someone stands in front of you and you miss the scene. Now after that event, some perception has took place in the minds of viewer, but it cannot be 100%. Next is E1. Suppose M was the original person who was seated in the stadium and was actually watching the match. His friend, whose name is F, was busy somewhere so couldn't watch the match. Now, after returning home, M shared his experience with F and gave him the entire details of the match. Here, M is in control, and how he describes the event to F is at discretion of M. So now the event E becomes even, and even will be changed further when this will be spread to another people to whom M will communicate. So I have tried to cover as many models of communication as I could. Hope these PPTs would be helpful to you. Thank you.